EPA WA meteorologist Bobby Martins here with your outlook for August 10th, 2021. The Tuesday video forecast is proudly sponsored by the Reading Fightin' Phils, who are back in town at First Energy Stadium to take on the Akron Rubber Ducks, and that will be taking place. First pitch tonight is scheduled for 6:45 p.m. this evening. It is a special night because we have the Baseball Town Hall of Fame induction ceremony for Carlos Ruiz, which many of you Philly fans will remember that name very well. He is a world champion, all-star catcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, of course now retired, but he did come up through the farm system and played at Reading, so they will be honoring him tonight, and that will be all part of the beginning of the 6-game homestand. This is actually the first of 3 homestands that they have left. They have one again next week, different team of course. I think it's Bowie next week they play, and then they have another one in the second week of September, and that's going to be it for the minor league baseball season for them at home anyway. So get your tickets at rphils.com. It's going to be a great night to enjoy the festivities at the ballpark in Reading. So today we have a partly cloudy, hot and humid day. It's going to start off kind of a little bit cloudy in the morning, and we might even have some early showers, very early showers, or maybe even a thunderstorm across parts of central New Jersey very early in the morning. Then we're going to have some clouds to deal with, okay? And then that's going to be up till about noon or thereabout that we start to thin out those clouds and becoming partly cloudy. There will be a chance for thunderstorms today. They'll be isolated to scattered depending on where you are, and I'll show you that in a second. It is going to be favoring the western portions of our coverage area to see the more scattered activity and more organized activity. And I think once it gets a little bit further east, it starts to wane down a little bit, okay? So it's not a widespread severe day or anything like that. There is a marginal risk, however, from the Storm Prediction Center, and I actually agree with this. This is for Tuesday. Everywhere in green here, in the darker green anyway, is the marginal risk for severe weather. Severe weather in this case would be winds approaching or reaching severe limits, okay, and that's winds. This is only a wind issue with any of these. The problem with today is the shear is not that great, so the sustainability might become a problem. And I think once it approaches the Delaware River, any of these storms approach the Delaware River, they're going to start to really wane down a little bit. So I think you're going to have your best chance today across these areas in central PA, even though they have the marginal risk extended to the Delaware River, pretty close to it. I think it's really out here in central PA that we have to watch today for maybe some stronger storm potential as that does so. Now, the big story this week is going to be the heat and humidity, okay? And this is not a surprise if you watch these videos for a while, or read the long range that we did for the last several weeks, and we knew this time period was coming. I had my staff, when I was at Music Fest last night, share something from the National Weather Service in Mount Holly, talking about the excessive heat watches that they put up right around the Philadelphia metro, all the way up in New Jersey, up in these areas. So that excessive heat watch is for heat indices in the 100 to 105 degree range that's expected Wednesday through Friday. They won't be today. We are going to build up to it today. And many areas are going to be on either side of 90 degrees, as you can see here. And then we have the isolated to scattered thunderstorm threat later in the day as that line comes through. But we are going to increase air temperatures 90 to 94 by the time we get to Wednesday, and might peak probably Thursday, Friday time frame. You get some areas might get into the 95, 96 degree range actually for highs, and then you're going to have the heat indices with the humidity, plenty of humidity involved with this is going to make it feel between 100 and 105 degrees on several of those afternoons between Wednesday and Friday. So keep that in mind. Take it easy if you're outdoors. You know the routine now. We're in August. This is not a new thing. So we get to, here's what the global models have for today. Not really a lot of activity, and it's more isolated. Here's the NAM, and I'm going to use the 18Z version here because it matched the high-resolution rapid refresh model that ran this evening. But the newer run of the NAM is not it's kind of scattered all over the place. But this is very close alignment in terms of a simulated radar, and I do think you're going to have some more organized activity out here in central PA, and that's the areas we're watching for marginally severe weather today. And then once we get this line to move eastward, you see it kind of just doesn't dissipate, but it loses its punch as it approaches the Delaware River. It might get over as far east as the Lehigh Valley up to eastern Poconos and down to parts of southeast PA before this finally wanes and just goes away. And I think that's the right idea, okay, with this convection today. So we'll follow that, of course, and if that changes, we'll certainly adjust. But I think the Storm Prediction Center is agreeing with that general idea, the general concept. Once it gets to the river, it kind of weakens and goes away. You're also running out of daylight heating at that point when that happens. And this is looking at 8 o'clock when it gets over to the eastern part of the state. By the way, when I started this image here, this is looking at 4. So it's kind of like a 4 to 8 west to east deal. It would have gone longer if it survives past the river, but it's probably not going to. So you might have a residual stray garden variety storm at that point once it gets to the Delaware River, and that's it. So that's it for today. We're going to have this isolated threat for the next couple of days. Today's probably maybe the most organized of those next couple of days to see any activity. Because when we get to Wednesday here on the NAM, it's really, there's some more stuff popping up here. This is more air mass related, and every time you get it, you just have to have the slightest little boundary or perturbation or anything you want to call it moving through here. There's no organized shortwaves. Those are very weak impulses moving through, and along any of those boundaries that they leave behind, either residual or with this in particular, could fire off storms. It doesn't take much. It's like I always say, it's like lighting off a match in a fireworks factory. It doesn't take much to get these going. So you will have some more storms isolated, of course, here on Wednesday, and that's shown here on the NAM as well. Kind of the same idea. And the same idea is going to repeat itself on Thursday. It's not really overly organized. And it's a very, very lacking forcing, so it's going to be a low shear environment, not moving very fast. Once we get to Friday, I think we'll have a more organized threat. Now, here's Wednesday here on the European model. Again, isolated activity. And then same thing here on Thursday. Actually, it doesn't really have too much at all on Thursday, except maybe our western Pennsylvania. But then when we get to Friday, I think you're going to have a little bit more organization. And this is going to be along a prefrontal trough, a leeward trough, whatever you want to call it. There could be some stronger storms involved with this as well. If this prefrontal trough can get established, the cold front is back here. So the prefrontal trough is over our area ahead of the cold front, which will come through on Saturday now. Now, we were talking about that yesterday. What was the timing of this front? We didn't really know because some models had it faster, some had it slower. And the trend has been to keep this a little bit slower moving through, so that's not going to mean Saturday is your key day for possible severe weather. I'd say Friday and Saturday, but Saturday it's kind of honing in on the actual cold front moving through. And since there's a trough behind this with cooler air, this will have a lot more punch to it, and it could be dealing with some more severe weather here as we get into the start of the weekend. Scattered showers and thunderstorms with this both Friday and Saturday. Prefrontal trough and then the cold front on Saturday. And then this moves through here Saturday night, so we set up a nice couple of days both Sunday and Monday with partly cloudy skies and temperatures back into the low to mid 80s and lower humidity. So that'll be a nice change after we have several days with heat and humidity to deal with, especially in the Wednesday through Friday time frame of this week. I'm EPA WA meteorologist Bobby Marchers. That is your outlook for August 10th, 2021. Have a great Tuesday.